Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. All right, well, an action-packed show.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to tighten up my microphone here. Playing for you guys today. Mark Norman, very funny stand-up. He'll be in studio. And, of course, lead counsel for Joe Exotic, John M. Phillips, who Gina's going to shepherd us through the Tiger King because I've not seen it.
The new one does look incredibly tempting to watch.
Bryan, were you one of these conscientious objectors to Tiger King?
Yes, of course. It's TV. I have no interest.
I thought there's some good stuff on TV.
No, of course there's the joke. I ignore it all. The Tiger King it was interesting, I heard. Gina can tell us.
Yeah, no, I've said this before. I stand by it. It's watch hillbillies abuse animals for 6 episodes. Is tough for me.
Okay.
But there's very interesting characters, and I do have some questions for this gentleman.
All right, so we'll get into that. I had a couple of thoughts unrelated to that.
Wait, sorry. Before you get to them, I have something for you.
Ooh, fanny pack.
Oh, hey.
Wow.
I got you a JanSport because they're a
wow.
trusted backpack manufacturer. I figured they could handle a fanny pack.
Nice. And in the bag it came in.
Yeah.
So this has got the new fanny pack smell.
It better.
Right.
I'll let you sniff it after I put it on.
And I was looking for, I stayed away from anything that had, multiple flaps and zippers because I know that caused the problem in the first place.
Yes, very nice.
So hopefully that's just the 2 zippers.
Did you purchase that?
I did because I didn't want to give you one of my, rainbow colored ones.
Wow. Well, that is wonderful and practical, and I
Good.
shall don it proudly.
Sweet.
And you can do it like the girls do. You don't have to wear it in front like you're going to,
You're a strappy style.
or turn it around and have it on your little tush. That's how the girls wear it.
That's an option.
Yeah.
Well, we will talk to John Phillips, who's, he's Joe Exotic's guy, but he's really a substantial guy. He's been involved with a lot of big cases, so he's no hillbilly. So we'll talk to him about that. Also, I had some thoughts in general, which is, I've talked in the past about danger and our relationship with danger and not being really tuned up for that. A lot of people, making sure their 7-year-old washes the shit out of their hands before they come back in the house and stuff. The COVID has shined a light on that. And we're doing, it's that basic, your kid's got a much higher chance of drowning in the neighbor's swimming pool, but you don't care if he goes to the neighbor's house and hangs out in the backyard, but you're all freaked out about COVID. And I've sort of talked about tuning yourself and how the blue collar guys that are always working with the bandsaws and the oscillating spindle sanders have a very nice relationship with danger because they're going to lose a finger at any potential Tuesday afternoon because they have to know how everything works. And I was thinking about it, and of course this whole Kyle Rittenhouse case is all over the news and everyone's talking about it, and it's become politicized, and I was talking to Garagos about it and so on and so forth. But I was taking a little different angle on it, which is the danger angle in the relationship with danger, which is Rittenhouse, at least as the testimony and the experts and the witnesses have all come through the trial now, he was running with his AR-15. And the AR-15 is, people call it a weapon of war, they call it a machine gun, they call it whatever. It really looks more dangerous than it is. I don't think it's used in battle, for instance. But obviously, you can kill somebody with it. But unlike a traditional hunting rifle, it looks scary.
Yes.
The stock, it looks like an assault weapon.
Sure.
And I think there's probably not that much difference between that and a semi-automatic rifle that you might use for hunting. But this one looks menacing, and we have a problem with that. But he had one of those, and he was running, and he was being chased. And he turned around and shot one of the guys who was chasing him, and he killed him. Then he decided the mob was growing, dangerous. The police line was, 100 yards down the road. He was going to run for the police line. So as he started running for the police line, the mob was chasing him. Now keep in mind, he's got an AR-15 and he just killed somebody with it. So he's got the gun, he will use it, and it works. And they're chasing him. One guy just comes up and just like whacks him in the head from behind and kind of peels off. Then he trips and he falls down. And then another guy tries to beat him with his skateboard. Now,
what we got?
Again, he just killed somebody with this AR-15. You don't have an AR-16 or 17. You got a skateboard. But you're going after him with the skateboard. So he starts swinging at him with the skateboard, and he blows that guy away. Then a third guy shows up, and he is trying to get the gun away from Kyle Rittenhouse. He has a pistol. This guy then sort of brandishes the pistol and is trying to get the gun away. And
a lot of hand-to-hand combat.
Rittenhouse fires at him, semi-automatic, fires at him and vaporizes his upper arm, basically. What I'm saying is, all right, the first guy gets shot with the AR-15. Maybe that's a fluke. When the second guy gets shot by the guy with the AR-15, we've established a pattern.
Yes.
He
has a gun. Yes. The gun has a clip. The clip has bullets in it, and this guy knows how to re-rack because he is already killed two of your fellow folks. You know,
right?
You got to think about the third guy. The third guy's going in. And it's sort of like, all right, then he gets shot, and then he gets up and he runs behind the police line. But what I'm saying is I'll bet you a lot of these people who were shot 4 months earlier were giving lectures on wiping down Grubhub bags before their roommate brought them into the apartment. And what I'm saying is that's fine, but if you're going to do that, then don't chase guys with AR-15s. It seems a little out of balance. Your relationship with danger is what I'm saying. Do you guys have thoughts?
Reality on reality's terms, as Drew used to say. You can perceive all the dangers you want all around you, but when there actually is, act accordingly.
And you're 25. You're spry enough to chase vigilantes down a street. You don't have a weight problem. You're not hooked up. You're not grabbing for your inhaler.
Right.
COVID's probably not going to get you. But the guy with the AR-15...
He's 5 feet in front of you.
He may get you.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that just weird relationship because... At first, I thought the first guy got shot, and then the second guy got shot in the arm, and then he killed the third guy. But two guys got blown away before the third guy decided to move in.
And all very close hand-to-hand combat with the guy with the like you said, semi-automatic weapon.
The problem with the guy with the skateboard is he can't do it from 100 meters.
That's true, yeah.
So
can't throw it, whip it at him.
He's got a choice. He can either just back off and live to fight another day, or he can go in with his skateboard, which he decided to do.
Fairly impressive.
It's also weird about, people are sort of simultaneously scared of microaggressions and completely emboldened.
And aggressive.
Yeah, it's like I feel
that way.
It's like when the cop has his gun drawn, that's time. Now it's time to just drop down to your knees. Do not keep going at the cop. It's a weird relationship we have with danger.
Do you guys have thoughts about the judge reading his Christmas cookie catalog during the hearing? This judge, oh boy, he's ripe for fodder. Well,
Did Garagos have thoughts on the judge?
Does he have,
eccentric, I think.
Eccentric. He's yelled at the prosecution, don't call them victims. He's looking at the cookie catalog.
Yeah, the judge, according to Mark, who I spoke to, and I think it'll drop on Friday, the reasonable doubts. I just had very long drill down on this Rittenhouse case and or the judge. First off, I asked Mark if he had been yelled at by a judge. He said, very many times. Very many times.
I'd like to see that.
So it's not as bizarre as we think it is.
On the golf course at the country club.
Yeah, he's been yelled at quite a bit by judges, number one. Number two, the thing that judge was most pissed off was, I think, the Fifth Amendment, where you have the right to remain silent. So he didn't like the fact that the prosecutor was saying, well, you never talked about it before, which pissed the judge off because he has a right not to talk about it, or he's instructed not to talk about it. Oh, reasonable doubt's available now. Okay, so you can hear a good drill down.
The crying was exquisite.
He said, yeah, we can talk about the crying. He said that, as far as putting your witness or your client on the stand, it's the client's choice ultimately.
Yeah, sure.
They get to decide, even if their defense objects. And as a matter of fact, Mark had a client that said, "I'm taking the stand," and Mark said, "Do not take that stand."
The hell you are.
And he took the stand.
Overruled.
He was found guilty, and they always go and survey the jurors. They always want to know, well, what was the evidence? What can we learn? They're like the TSA after a plane crash. They want to reconstruct
break it all down.
Break it down. And he said, well, when he took the stand, that's what did it for him. We thought he was innocent until then, and that's what did it. And Mark said that the lawyer, at least he did in this case, he goes on the record as saying, I said don't take the stand.
I tried to talk him out of it or whatever.
Right, which is the record for the record's sake, but it's also for your sake as an attorney, because you don't want to be, he's the Nimrod who told the guy to take the stand and lie. They want to be like on record, like your stepdad would do, like, okay, I'm saying it's a bad idea. You want to ride a mini bike with no helmet? I am telling you, I think it's a bad idea, but you're 18 and a half and I can't control you, So he had thoughts about that. The judge, he said that happens a lot.
He's wacky, it seems like.
He said that he was annoyed by the prosecutor because they have this conversation, and I don't even want to try the legal terminology, but before they try the case, they get in front of the judge and they go, we want to bring this in and we want to bring that in. And then, they'll go, we want to bring in the fact that he had another girlfriend who claims he was physically abusive, and the judge will go, "No, you're not bringing that in. It's got to do with this." Or he'll go, "You can bring it in."
Right.
But once he tells you you're not bringing it in,
you're done.
And then you bring it in, then he's pissed.
Right.
There's consequences.
That's part of what happened with the judge. Then there is the concept. It's a little more than a conspiracy theorist. There's the concept that the prosecutor is doing this to get a mistrial, which something that Geragos thought, Alan Dershowitz thought, that you can essentially. I said, is it like this then? I made this example on Reasonable Doubt. I said, if you are a prize fighter and you are getting pummeled, and it's the 7th round, and you're just eating jabs, and you're not going to win this fight, do you throw a low blow
the exact same thing,
and then have the ref step in and go, do it again? I'm going to call this bout.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you throw another low blow, and you don't quit on your stool.
Right.
They've called the fight, but then the beer can's going to come raining in. But the ref, who in this scenario is the judge, he doesn't want to call the fight. If the ref calls the fight, the judge calls the fight, the beer cans come in on them too. It's a little more nuanced than that, but there is a theory that the prosecution would like a mistrial or would like it called.
So it's not an L on their record, essentially.
Well, it's like, if you got pummeled for another 5 rounds and then it went to the judges and it was a unanimous decision,
it's not going to look good.
It's better just to have a disqualified or a non-trial or whatever to kind of keep the analogy together. But I don't know. Thoughts? What do you guys got?
I thought the exact same thing. Well, I don't know boxing as well as you do, but I was like, there are things you can do to get out of the fight. Have it called. I don't want this to go down as an L or whatever, TKO. It goes down as a disqualification or no contest or whatever the terminology is. I thought the exact same thing, not knowing, of course, as much.
Yeah, Andrew Galata, who's the only guy in heavyweight history, just as a piece of boxing trivia, Andrew Galata is an insane Polish man, and he, in fact, was a heavyweight. He was good, but he was a little sporadic. He wasn't as consistent. And Andrew Galata was beating the shit out of the heavyweight champion. at the time, Big Daddy, not Idi Amin. Trying to think of
George Foreman.
No, sort of the next Riddick Bowe. Riddick Bowe. He's beating the shit out of Riddick Bowe, and I don't know. It's going all Andrew Galata's way, and then he throws the low blow, and the ref's like, "Bring it up, bring it up." Then he throws the low blow again, and the ref's like, "I will deduct a point." Then he throws another low blow. Then Andrew Galata, who I guess is insane, he goes back to his stool between the round, and his team is like, "You're winning this fight. You're going to be the heavyweight champ of the world." No, they just tell him no more body punches. I don't even want to mark where they land. Just jab for the next 3 rounds, and we're going to go away with the strap. Goes right on out, throws the low blow. Throws the low blow again, and at some point the ref just gets involved and goes, "It's over. We're stopping this fight." I think it was a heavyweight fight. If Riddick Bowe, Max Batty, you can figure it out if Riddick Bowe had the heavyweight title at that point. If he didn't, he would have been next in line for the heavyweight title. He left millions and millions of dollars on the table. I don't know if he moved back to Poland. He's insane, but he would not stop. But not because it works in this analogy. He was winning the fight clearly and couldn't stop.
I was thinking more Mike Tyson, biting the ear. It's like he kind of wanted out at a certain point of that fight. Like, this isn't going my way.
Mm-hmm. Do you have it there, Max?
Bo was looking to get himself back into the mix for the heavyweight championship.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he was in the mix or trying to get back in the mix. And Galata...
Do you want to see some of it?
Yeah, okay. It's pretty funny. Galata was just this big Polish dude, and these weren't that close.
Ooh!
He threw a
3-pack.
That was a combo to the nuts.
You see the ones go wide every once in a while, and they just catch the belt line. Not him.
He punched him so hard in the sack.
He just kept doing it.
Yeah, that wasn't accidental.
No,
that was a combo.
No, it's like he just wanted to be disqualified after winning.
Jesus.
After what round was that in, Maxipad? Do you have it there?
We're looking.
Anyway, all right. So I don't know. Andrew Galata, he's got to be a hot mess about now, right?
That was the end of round 9.
Yeah, he was winning all.
They looked sluggish.
Well, it would have been a 10-round fight because it wasn't a championship fight, and he was ahead on all the scorecards. All right, let's see. Gina is buying a house, maybe. Wants to pitch a new phrase he coined to me. Let's pull balls on the summer. Let's talk about the new phrase that can be pitched. John, 41, Wisconsin.
How you doing, Ace?
Hi, Guy.
How are you?
Good.
It's always an honor to get to speak to you.
Oh, also, sorry.
That was short.
Yeah.
He said what he had to say.
I talked to Garagos quite a bit about, putting your guy on the stand, and he said, well, you got to decide who this person is.
Sure, how they're going to come across.
We know we all went to high school with people that you start to agitate them, and
they'll jump over the
might not go
button.
might not go right. He said, yeah, no, they ask him every question they can ask. They do the dry runs. Right. You can also understand that, this person's emotional. They might start crying if you start drilling down with them on this stuff. Maybe the guy's been with him for X amount of months. I'm sure he's cried several times talking about the case or doing proudly in front of him. So his guy probably knew who he was.
Does he always sneak a peek at the jury while he's crying?
Do we believe it was fake crying?
I've never seen crying like that, but I cry weird. So
it's possible he cries weird.
Yeah, he seemed like he was having a panic attack.
I've had several of those, and again, it looks different. But who am I to say?
Well, do you think it was fake? Do you think it was crocodile tears?
I didn't. First of all, did we see any actual moisture
That's what I was
drip
thinking.
down the face? I didn't see any.
No.
I just saw a lot of
facial contortion.
Yes.
Which again, maybe that's the way. It's a high stress environment. You're literally life is on the line. You're in the witness box for your own life.
If I were his counsel, I would say I didn't put him up to this. I didn't want him on the stand because it didn't. I mean, people are literally laughing at him. You know, it's not like it doesn't seem to have gained any sympathy points because it was so odd. And then the little like bink, you know, it just didn't. I don't know that it's really moving people.
Well, should we hear it? Then I guess we should find it.
Yeah, we're pulling it up.
It struck me as more odd than fake. You know what I mean? I mean, there was a little bit of that, but it was like, this is really weird. Maybe this is how this dude is.
Yeah.
I thought it had context. Like, my feeling is this guy, you know, when the crime went down, he was 17, probably had a pretty bad year. I'm guessing. I mean, he was called,
couldn't go to prom.
A terrorist and a white supremacist.
Didn't get invited to the Sadie Hawkins.
And also, you know, 18 is technically an adult, but I don't know.
You can't rent a car?
When I was 18,
your brain's not fully formed.
The oddness seemed to me why it was more authentic. That's why it felt like
let's watch.
Will you ever hear a weird sneeze versus a chew?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a chew, you go, that might be fake, but a weird sneeze, like my mom does, she does a chow. All right, we'll see. We'll see what it sounds like.
There were 3 people right there.
Take a deep breath, Kyle.
That's what I... That's what I run.
We're gonna just take it. Time for our break anyway.
Was that the sneak peek?
Relax for a minute, sir.
It was. I saw it as like honestly like a GIF, so it's hard to say where it was.
Oh, he looked at the judge.
But the other thing is, if I were his counsel, I'd say, look, if you're going to break down, now's the time. You know, it just doesn't. It doesn't. You can sort of see behind the curtain. I guess when you're as jaded as we've all become, you know.
I'm not as jaded. I think he cried. I mean, if it helps him to cry, that is more motivation to cry. But let's put it to you this way: what if it was an 18-year-old chick?
I mean, I would say she cries weird. You know, it's
But
weird.
why is weird crying the deciding whether it's an authentic cry?
She cries in a way that I've never seen a human cry before.
Okay. So you think it was
I have nothing
cooked.
to. Well, I have nothing to compare it to because I've never seen anyone break down in that way. Maybe I'm just sheltered.
You think you've seen people like have like a real crazy reaction?
Yes, but with no actual tears coming down their face. I've never seen that before.
Okay.
I've had many panic attacks, but I've never seen that.
Yeah, it seemed a little over the top, but like I said, his life may be on the line, or at least his adult life. I don't know what he's facing, but it's a high stress situation. So maybe that's how he cries or expresses emotion unusually. If you were to say, close your eyes and picture someone crying, that's not what you picture.
Well, I would make the argument that let's just say it was, let's say, completely premeditated, right? I would argue if you said, like, you're going to cry up there, it's going to help. Mm-hmm. If the attorney said it or it was discussed or sort of premeditated. I would argue you would do a more conventional crying. You would do a kind of textbook, like more of a telenovela.
Right.
Right. Like a little more standard cry that wouldn't make it seem as bizarre as it seems if it was premeditated. That's my take.
Yeah, I get that.
All right. We have the jury sneak peek look over here.
Yeah, it's quick. You could see.
There.
Yeah. Still, here's my thing. It's not really provable one way or the other, but considering what he's been through and what he's possibly facing, you can't go, it was fake because it's unknowable.
Yeah.
Unless we find an email or something from his
or some
evidence
whatever. Of him crying before on camera.
Hey, check this out. I'm going to send you a quick video. Does this work?
Here's him in 2017 watching the end of Old Yeller, dry as a bone. Bombshell news. All right, let's talk to
John.
So I believe him because I need something more tangible to not believe him. All right, let's say, who was I talking to? John. On line 3. John, 41, Wisconsin.
How are you?
Hi, Guy.
Hi, Guy.
You want to?
Always good to talk to you, folks.
You want to pitch a new phrase?
I got an idea for maybe like a name for one of your segments. You know, you're always dropping knowledge on us, telling us how the world should be, and I feel like it could be called Critical Ace Theory.
Ooh!
Oh wow,
not bad.
That's good.
CAT.
That's good.
Yeah.
You like
got a nice acronym.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Write
real
that
good.
down, Maxipata. Critical Ace Theory.
Thank you, John.
New segment. That's good, John.
No problem. No problem.
How's the temperature over there in Wisconsin? I mean,
It's quite cold.
Yeah, I didn't mean that part, but with the trial and everything going on.
Oh, they literally asked the weather was like.
I was hoping that people would remember the 27 minutes of trial conversation we had leading into the Wisconsin call, but
where Wisconsin was never mentioned.
Yes, where Wisconsin was never mentioned. It is in Wisconsin, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I think.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. As far as that is concerned, honestly, I guess to be honest with you, me and my friends don't really discuss it too much. I don't know.
All right, so they're not, boarding up windows or anything.
No.
Okay.
Good.
No.
All right. Good.
Good sign.
All right. Thanks for the new idea.
That was really good.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now Gina and her home.
I'm curious about this too.
Scott, 45, Charlotte.
Hey, Adam, huge fan. I listen every day. And I'm glad you had a shitty childhood, same as me.
Yeah.
But Gina's my favorite besides you.
Oh.
And I wonder if it bothers you that she talks about how she can never afford a house. And I'm hoping that maybe you can pay her more so she can finally get a house in California.
Or just
I love her, and my girlfriend loves her, so just asking.
I swear to God, I don't know this man.
Yeah, Scott, you sound gainfully employed. How about you ship in?
I own a bullshit business, an exterminating business, which, so yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the inflation out here, like literally in my neighborhood, near the Johns, it's almost $1 million a house. It's just a joke.
When Scott says a bullshit business, is he a manure kind of thing, or
That's
is it
funny.
or is this? No, I'm serious.
He's an exterminator.
Well, I've heard Adam talk about ants in his house. I listen every day, so he's not a big believer in the exterminating.
No. Here's what I will say about the exterminating business, because I've had a few exterminators. Something you get when you get to a certain bracket, you get an exterminator, And
that's true.
People talk a lot, like when you see a commercial for a hamburger. And it's Carl's Jr. new triple patty baconator, and they're like, it looks really good.
Of course.
And you go into the Carl's Jr. and order it, it will at least look something like that.
Yeah.
It's a little smaller.
Leaning.
Not lit as well, but it's still got 3 patties.
The same construction.
And bacon.
Right.
The exterminator commercial is a guy looks like Joel McHale, a 31-year-old Joel McHale.
The Orkin Man.
Fresh from the shave in a gym. He's got like a bow tie on. He's all starched up, shirt's tucked in, 4% body fat. Pulls in a brand spanking new van.
Name tag Mitch.
Walks up. He's cordial with the homeowner. Then he goes to work. You know what I mean? An invisible radar goes out over the house, zapping all creatures that go within the perimeter.
A mesh.
That's right.
Mesh net.
He's checking under the house. He's got his head up. He's under in the crawl space. Got his head up in the attic. Zap, zap, zap. And yeah, once he does the invisible perimeter, then there's these green laser lights that go around the house. Now,
with bugs going, no.
Reality, fat Guatemalan guy shows up in T-shirt, smoking a cigarette. He's got the Hudson sprayer, and you see him just walking around the house. He's spraying the outside house.
Just the perimeter.
The fucking dog could be sleeping out there. Just spray right over there. He sprays that thing like bad. You ever see like bad guys painting lines on a roadway where it's like they're spraying over the weeds on the red zone, and there's a beer can out there, and they just spray right over.
They never really look down.
Spraying around. He comes in, he spends first off, they're there for 7 minutes. They're not doing the full perimeter. They don't stake anything out. They just spray this Hudson thing. They go around, you get the bill. And then later on, when you get the ants, there's really nothing you can do but hey, could you come back? And they go, all right. And they just come back.
Charge you again.
Yep. Is that an accurate depiction of your business, Scott?
Yeah, pretty much. And I just ship people out of money, and that's good. But I do want Gina to get a house. So
well, you make a lot of money.
Yeah. You come service.
Well, no, I do come back out. I do the thing. I don't do the Orkin thing. It's just me. So.
What's a regular size, 2,000 square foot family home in your neighborhood run?
Well, I'm in North Carolina, so a whole lot different than California. About $145, $150.
That I can do. I got 2 of them.
What is your mortgage?
I take care of all that.
What's your mortgage payment
They
on
pay
something
him.
like that?
Adam, my mortgage, I can't afford to own a house now because the house prices are so crazy. It's like $250,000 to buy a house here now. I know that sounds cheap to you.
Wait, just got
it doubles.
Yeah, my rent's about $1,200. Yeah.
Oh, your rent, but mortgage on a $150,000 house is
$1,000.
$100 a month.
I think it's less than $1,000 a month. Oh. All right, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Put that check in the mail, Broseph.
I love you. How
Okay,
sweet.
let's get Gina a raise. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Well, I think
Gina's
it's more.
agent.
I think it's more about isn't there policy? Like, can't there be? I mean, I'm sorry to tell you this, homeowners and sellers, but can't there be some sort of a fucking cap to give us a fighting chance to buy a house? I mean, it's insane. I'm on Redfin. I get the stupid alerts every day. I get the Zillow. By the way, Zillow wasn't the word on the street that they were buying the houses and flipping them themselves.
Yeah, they were in some sort of minor scandal.
There is no way for your average Joe who is gainfully employed to ever dip a toe into it. It's insane.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we'll, look, we're heavily regulated. We're not building a lot of new stuff.
And that's
it's
a big part of it.
Way too tough out here to build. So inventory is down and potential buyers are up, and that's how the market is driven. All right. John Phillips, attorney for lead counsel for Joe Exotic, is going to be with us. Well, we can talk to him about all the Rittenhouse case if we want. We can talk to him about the Travis Scott case.
And he's actually in an interesting position of one of those, the enemy of the enemy is my friend, because he was representing someone on Carol Baskin. He's an interesting guy.
So we'll talk to him about all that. First, I'll tell you about Simply Safe. Once you're home, home ownership. So awesome.
Tell me
to
about
feel safer, well, there's no better time than now. This week, our friends at Simply Safe are giving the Adam Carolla Show listeners early access to their Black Friday deal, 50% off. Everything you need, indoor and outdoor cameras, comprehensive sensors, around-the-clock monitoring by trained professionals who send help the instant you need it. Named Best Home Security of 2021 by U.S. News and World Report. Easily customize a system for your home online in minutes. Even get free custom recommendations. Simply Safe's biggest discounts. This is it of the year. Get a complete home security system starting at just over $100 with no long-term contracts or commitments. Supplies are limited. Take 50% off at Simply Safe, 2 eyes. SimplySafe.com/Adam. Do it today. All right. Quick break. Back with John Phillips right after this.
And now, Alcoa presents Definitely Not a Jew on the Adam Carolla Show. Dateline, Highgate Springs, Vermont. A Montreal woman was arrested after attempting to cross into the United States with 18 crocodile skulls, 7 crocodile feet, a 3-toed sloth, 2 horseshoe crabs, 30 sea stars, 23 raccoon feet, 8 African antelope horns, 4 puffer fish, and 6 shark jaws. Definitely not a Jew.
Yeah, did yourself, Dawson.
I didn't know the music went on that long.
It went on forever.
John M. Phillips is on the line or on the Skype. Tiger King 2 is the show. It's available Wednesday on Netflix. John was lead counsel for Joe Exotic, or maybe he is lead counsel for Joe Exotic. Is that an ongoing thing?
I still am, and a huge fan of all things Adam Carolla for as long as I can probably not want to admit.
Wow, is that? Well, thank you.
Show, going back a bit.
Yeah. So let's talk. First off, I hear Joe Exotic has prostate cancer, and you don't think he's going to make it 5 more years in prison?
With the medical care in prison, 5 years with prostate cancer, probably not a good prognosis. You know, the good news, there's never good news when you have cancer, but the silver lining to that tragedy is it's stage 1, stage 2. They are continuing to look in other places. He's got testicular examination coming, but it's cancer in federal prison is hell on top of hell.
Where is he being housed, and what are the conditions? Because there's feel like we have a lot of range. We have sort of club fed. Mm-hmm. We have stories about January 6 rioters being in solitary. It's like we seem to have a lot of range as to how we house our criminals.
You've got everything from the stories of Martha Stewart to, the Office Space line of "Don't send me to bang me in the blank prison."
Right.
And so Joe is in what's called the Federal Medical Center in Fort Worth, Texas. It used to be a medical grade federal prison, but they've lost a lot of their certifications. I visited him there a few times. It's nice enough, dorm room kind of housing, but it's federal prison and the food sucks. And, there's no iPads. None of that.
Yeah, I went to a maximum security prison once out here, or maybe 100 miles away from here, to do a man show bit with Jimmy. And I was like, well, who are we going to hang out with? There's like a bunch of murderers. But they were like, these are the murderers that don't try to murder other people in prison. And so we give them an acoustic guitar and they can kick around a hacky sack. Right. But as soon as they sharpen a spoon, they got to go back in the hole.
Right. They've earned their way.
Yeah.
So there's even kind of a prison within prison.
Right. The shoe.
Yeah. So
the shoe.
The shoe, right.
Joe has spent time in the shoe. Joe is currently in the shoe.
Why?
So he got caught with a little contraband, one of these things.
Phone.
Yep. And so he's spending a little time in the shoe. I don't know how public that is, but there's your Adam Carolla exclusive. Yeah.
Is the shoe where they have the guard sort of in the middle, and am I making this up?
The slot.
Solitary holding. So
that's the shoe.
It's when I started this case, we didn't do the federal criminal as regularly. I do civil rights and the civil side more, but it's I've learned a lot about it, and it's unpleasant. And for a guy like Joe, who is always got to be connected, super gregarious, always needs to talk, it's hell. It's terrible. So he's in by himself. He has I think 1 hour a day outside of the small room.
So we know you cast quite a wide net from a legal standpoint, so we thought we might want to talk to you about the Travis Scott Astro World thing. I just talked to Mark Garagos about a half hour ago about that. He called you a hack, by the way. But anyway.
So can I tell you a quick Mark Garagos thing?
Please. It could be long.
Tell him I bid in an auction a couple of years ago to go to lunch with him.
Really?
And COVID has since happened. And now I'm going to be on Tiger King, and now he might need a lunch with me. I'm just kidding. But I literally paid to go to lunch with the guy, and I can't get a date with him because of COVID. So tell him I'm ready for that lunch.
Oh, really? So You were the winning bid in the Go to lunch with Mark Garagos sweepstakes.
I was. It's always about, trying to find the smartest guy or gal in the room. And he's certainly done it at a high level. Shapiro's become a pretty decent friend of mine, and those, that level of lawyer just has so much to hand down and teach.
Does I don't want to get too personal, but what's the winning bid to go to Kebabway in Glendale with Mark Garagos, which I can do for fucking free any day of the week, by the way.
Now, yeah, I'm just going to fly over and I'll just crash lunch.
Just come over,
but
yeah.
I think it was like $1,000 or $2,000. It went to a good cause. It's been so many years. It wasn't.
It'll get you a lot of pita.
It is.
But it was.
Yeah, it's good business too. I mean, it's always good to be connected. Just for his 2 private airplanes, you could occasionally hop a ride on, as we've been known to do. So, his thing was, there's no real criminal. It's going to be hard to find criminal liability for like Travis Scott because he's on stage and there's music and noise. It's going to be really hard to prove that, but there may be some criminal liability somewhere in this case. Sort of, I don't know, it'd be hard to find criminal stuff against Alec Baldwin, but doesn't mean we're not going to find some criminal behavior.
Well, and somebody's already suing him for PTSD. So people, like Mark says,
Travis
anyone
Scott
can sue.
Or
no, Baldwin.
Because everyone, I mean, if you were trampled, killed or injured, there's going to be lawsuits. But if you were just there, there's going to be lawsuits. Yeah. Thoughts? Sorry.
Well, you see these things develop with the Travis Scott. We're getting earlier and earlier with the filing of the lawsuits. That darn thing happened Saturday, and I file lawsuits. I get it, but that darn thing happened Saturday, and one of the usual press conference lawyers already had a lawsuit filed Sunday, which courts aren't even open. So that's just beyond ambitious. But what happens is then the press announce the lawsuits and you get more clients that jump on the wagon. And look, that is a tragedy. There should have been a lawsuit. But, sometimes you want this little expression called due diligence to occur first. But, everybody's going to be sued. There's whoever was packing them in, if there was some drug issues, I think, that people were saying were passed around. And if that's related, that's criminal. But yeah, the civil liability is just gonna tear it apart. Hopefully they were highly insured. But yeah, I agree with Garagos. How could I not? That the people on the stage, civil liability, potentially. Criminal liability.
But they did. I mean, there was like flashing blue and red ambulance like in the crowd that he didn't seem to have a lot of interest in. I'm not saying it's his fault, but.
Well, and the people warning him. I mean, there was so much callousness, but callousness isn't a crime.
Right.
There's no good Samaritan law generally, unless you put somebody directly in harm's way. You don't really have to save them. You can kind of step over them and go about your business in America. But the civil liability is a negligent standard, and so that's easier to accomplish.
We're also talking to your hero, Mark Garagos, about the Rittenhouse case. And we don't need to get in all the nuts and the bolts of that. But I was saying to him, shortly after the incident, he was basically just called a white supremacist, and he went out hunting, and, big news outlets with familiar faces were going, this guy gets a gun, goes out hunting protesters. Like, they said some things that were pretty defamatory. And it kind of makes you think about the Nicholas Sandmann case. The guy was standing on the courthouse steps or whatever, and the Indian guy, they had the video footage. They didn't really drill down on the video footage. They saw what actually happened in both cases because they had access to the footage. They just sort of got over their skis and
went right to the smirk.
Went right to the white supremacy and the Hitler Youth thing. And so I said, Sandmann is cashing checks now, right? Nick Sandmann he's getting paid by these organizations who basically did that to him. I said, any room for that with this Rittenhouse case? He said, well, they'll convict him for bringing a gun at least. They're not going to convict him for murder, but they'll convict him for having a gun. And then once you get the gun conviction, then you can't really do the civil stuff. Does that sound about right?
About right. I mean, the question is this judge right now. So it's rare that judges yell in open court, particularly in front of jurors. And this judge is kind of, he's the most notorious judge in America right now because of how he's handled all sorts of issues. And look, there is a right against self-incrimination. You have an obligation in some instances not to speak out if you've been charged. And so to say, well, why didn't you speak here? And why didn't you speak there? That certainly is something every prosecutor should know. But the way the judge handled it and what he's going to do next, I haven't checked, the news, lately, I guess since yesterday, but they asked for a mistrial with prejudice, meaning let him out. That's it. And if that happens, I think he is, the next social media voice.
The judge.
Particularly the way that, I meant
Kyle,
Rittenhouse.
Yeah. Oh, Kyle, yeah.
The question is whether, the judge is going to get some side gigs from that too. But I love cameras in the courtroom. I grew up, I don't know if it hadn't been for watching Cochran and Shapiro and those guys in the OJ trial that I'd have gone towards litigation. It's just, there's something about it. But we're seeing in the pop culture movement, the TikTok star movement, more lawyers kind of showing their asses just to try to get a little bit more fame. You see judges who particularly federal judges that run a tough ship because federal district judges, not the magistrate level, but the district judges are appointed by the president, confirmed by Congress. And so they feel like they can use that, iron fist. State judges, depends on if they're elected or not. They tend to just try to go along to keep getting the votes. But that judge, man, he was out there.
Yeah, he also did kind of the old guy yell where he agitated himself and then he kind of lost his place. Anyone who's been yelled at by an old person realizes at some point their RPMs get spun up so high they lose their rhythm.
They lose the tread on the tires.
Right. Right. And then once old people get spun up, if you say to them, whatever comes out of your mouth next is going to get yelled at too.
Right,
so if you go, can I get a sip of water? Oh, you with your hydration.
You're out of order.
Yes.
And if they trip up and you're like, do the what with the what? Don't say your question, mate.
Right. Yeah.
Doubling down.
Yeah. I felt
jurors catch on to that stuff. Jurors just want to get done with jury duty. And if they see lawyers, acting a fool or being crazy or getting hammered by the judge too much, they do take it out on your client. And so, there's rules of professional conduct in every state. Some lawyers get them, some lawyers don't. Adam, I got to ask, have you seen Tiger King yet?
No, I've not seen one frame of Tiger King. Dr. Drew, who you know well, was obsessed with Tiger King. And I feel ashamed speaking to Joe Exotic's lawyer this way, but I have this thing about whatever everyone else is into, I would like to find something else to be into.
You're not curious why everyone else is into it? I am.
When I was in high school, everyone was listening to Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin and whoever, and I would listen to Graham Parker and John Hyatt just to listen to something different than what everyone. It's not good for dating. It doesn't. It's generally not a good life's plan. Yeah. But for some reason, the more something gets into the zeitgeist, the less interested I am.
You're
in
a yes and guy.
I know. I have a fiduciary duty to watch it just so I could have a conversation into a microphone about it. So I am kind of dropping that.
Well,
Gina's seen every second, but go ahead.
And I have a question. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Okay. I just saw the Joel McHale interview because he did that rap.
That was great.
And you talked about how you were afraid of gosh, how did you use it? The piercings, the significant piercings.
The gauge.
Yeah. And so, Tiger King 2, I'm in it, doesn't have nearly as many piercings. So maybe you can just skip to, skip to 2.
It was funny, back to the Rittenhouse trial, the guy who was shot in the upper arm, who had the pistol, who kind of screwed the pooch for the prosecution when he just went, yeah, I was pointing my gun at him, and then he shot me. That guy's name was Gage.
Oh, wow.
His first name is Gage, and he had Gage's.
Well, you got to at that point.
Yeah, I'm wondering maybe that one's on his dad or his mom.
Before we move too far off Rittenhouse, we were remiss not to ask John, what would you think of Kyle's performance in the box?
Wow. So, I can't decide. I tell people I'm not Republican, I'm not Democrat, I'm reasonable. And I can't decide how I feel on that case overall. I could go both sides and argue both sides on that one because here the guy took a gun to an expected fight, and I don't think what he did was right. In fact, I think it deserves jail time. But he looks like, the problem is we stay in our own bubble, right? And so if we do what our parents say and we only stay in our one bubble, we believe that bullshit sometimes. And he clearly believed that was right. And that was, when he started crying, some people look at him and be like, yeah, I felt bad for the kid. Because, we make mistakes, but not with AR-15s, Jim.
I was thinking about it. I didn't get a chance to bring this up to Mark, but I do have a kind of unintended consequences thought on a bigger societal notion, which is there's a famous story out here in Pasadena, and then there was a second story that happened. So the two stories, one is somebody gets their laptop stolen in Pasadena. They call the cops. Of course, the cops aren't doing jack shit. So he says the guy had a gun so they can get the cops to come down. And then the cops come down. The guy doesn't have a gun. They confront him in the alley, turns around. Of course, the cops shoot him and kill him. All right, that's an unintended consequences of sort of the cops not doing their jobs. There's another story where the guy got his Mustang stolen, said he had a special needs kid in the backseat. Yeah. I would have left it at just my kid, but he gilded the lily. He wanted special needs, and of course they rolled on it because he wanted his car back, and he wasn't going to get his car back. It strikes me if the cops just stand back and go, listen, we're going to let an angry mob let Kenosha burn, then there's going to be a small group of Americans who go, fuck that. My uncle has a car dealership there, and they're going to get on the roof like the Koreans did with the guns out here during the Rodney King riots, and they're going to go, fuck that. If you're not going to police, I'm going to police. And the next thing you know, you got 17-year-olds with AR-15 showing up and guys with pistols. The other guy had a pistol. He had an AR-15. You tell the cops you don't get involved. Yeah. Just let the fucking place burn to the fucking ground.
Somebody will get
somebody's
involved.
Going to show. Somebody owns that used car lot, and they're going to show up with a gun. This is going to happen. I'm actually surprised it hasn't happened more. Really, if you think about it.
Well, and with what we have with Rittenhouse on one side and Ahmaud Arbery going on at the same time, we're in a spot where civil rights in this country are going to be affected generally and specifically by a couple of different juries. I've got a law office probably 4 blocks from where they're conducting the Ahmaud Arbery case.
Wow.
Was he the jogger? Was he the jogger? That's a jogging case, just to make it clear.
That was going on. Mm-hmm. And so they've got to get it right. Unintended consequences. We have a case that we're trying next year where a guy was just in his garage listening to loud music. Police pull up on a loud music complaint. He opens the garage door, slams the garage door. Police fire 4 times through the garage door, killing him. And they found a gun in his back pocket.
Please be white. Was he white?
The races are exactly what you expect. White officer, black gentleman shot.
Yuck.
To make matters worse, in that case, we tried it in the jurisdiction where it happened. 31 live witnesses, 6-day federal civil rights jury trial. Jury came back with $4 verdict, $1 for each daughter, and $1 funeral expenses.
Oh boy,
and
insulting.
And so,
where was that?
Yeah,
was that in Florida?
Florida. And
how come that didn't get more national news?
It got a little bit right after. And we got it reversed by the appellate court. We actually went up to the Supreme Court on it. They appealed our appeal to the Supreme Court. We won that. And so we're retrying it. But it's, small town justice. And people don't want to hold their police accountable. But even cops, and if good cops, like I've turned in bad lawyers. If good cops won't turn in bad cops, we get a problem. And in any profession. So it's, we've got to police our own somewhat.
Yeah, no, I've lamented with Mark Garagos about the California bar really not doing jack squat to police any of their guys. I had a guy live down the hill from me.
Trying to extort you.
Yeah, during a rainstorm, he had a mud hill and a torrential downpour, and it just mud went in his pool, and he just kept sending me letters like, "Hey, give me $10,000 and we'll call it good." And I know where you I moved after that, and he's like, "I know where you live. This would sure be a shame if it got out in the press, and I'm an attorney. I know what I'm doing." And I was like, report this fucker to the bar, and they don't do shit about these guys. So there is not a lot of self-policing in policing, and I'm probably not in airplane piloting either. Like, people aren't really good at doctors, attorneys.
Look out for each other.
There's a code, I guess.
I'm getting my feelings hurt after seven Garagos name drops. Gina, did you have a Tiger King question?
I did.
I felt like you had one.
Thank you. No, I was just really curious about, it looks like you were kind of affiliated with the children of Don Lewis.
Right.
And also Joe Exotic. And
Right.
that's so interesting. So Adam doesn't know who we're talking about. But so Carol Baskin's husband disappeared, let's say, and a lot of shrouded in mystery as to what happened to him. There are theories that Carol was involved. There are theories that it became a tiger's lunch. There's all these theories. And so it's. Can you talk a little bit about being affiliated with him and his family as well as Joe?
It was super interesting, the transition, and the short, still moderately funny version of it is, although I get fired in the middle of the story, is that I represented the family like a Don's granddaughter's fiance, great guy named Dustin, called, "I do wrongful death," said, "I've got a wrongful death case." And I'm like, okay, good. I'm happy to talk about that. 23 years ago. That seems a bit out of the statute of limitations. Oh, Don Lewis. I watched Tiger King. And so we met with him when Carol went on Dancing with the Stars. We actually did a little PSA. That was me. Joe saw that PSA.
I know about.
That's the best.
And
Joe
saw the PSA and said I looked like I held him hostage because we were all doing it for, Instagram size as well. And so he made fun of me the first time I met him because of that PSA. But we still represent Ann McQueen, who's Don's assistant.
Right.
In her defamation case against Joe. The family really didn't have a defamation case. They wanted to pursue some other issues. I don't want to spoil it for them, but they wanted to pursue some other issues. They essentially said, "I'm good, John." I kept Ann. Joe found out a few months later, kept emailing me. That's really the prison, you get the BOP, Bureau of Prisons email. He kept emailing me until I went to Fort Worth. I walked into the room, full mullet, still the tattooed eyeliner, the guy that I saw in Tiger King. And I said, let's go. And at first I didn't really believe that he was set up. And after a few months, I started to believe it. After a few more months, everybody started coming forward, and, the rest you'll see in Tiger King 2. As much as we could show, we're filing motions and trying to get them out legitimately, but it's been fun. It's a project like that, is exposure for a lawyer, but it's crazy. And I have an idea what's in the final episode, and we find something, it's interesting.
The show Tiger King 2 is available Wednesday on Netflix, which I'm guessing, coming up this Wednesday. Website, floridajustice.com. That was my gay porn name. Twitter, at John Phillips as well. Thank you, John. I hope we can call on you anytime we have some legal questions. Mark's not around.
I'll be happy to be that other guy's backup anytime.
Thanks, Sloppy Seconds. Appreciate it, John. All right, let me tell you about Mark Norman, very funny comedian, is here. We'll bring him in the studio. First, I'll tell you about Ultimate Ears. Oh, man, we use tech every day. We rely on devices so much. Easy to forget, the hardware, the stuff you're born with, your ears. You want to take care of your ears. And unless you paid thousands of dollars for high-end custom-fit equipment, your earbuds probably cause discomfort and or pain. Yes, that is true. UE fits true wireless custom-fit earbuds from Ultimate Ears. Premium sound, all-day comfort. The molding process is easy. It's fast. Back in the day, I got an IFB or whatever. It's like pouring plaster into your ear. Had to have a tech come over to the set. It was a big rigmarole. Now, this is fast and easy. Perfect fit in just 60 seconds. 8 hours of continuous playback on a single charge, up to 20 hours with the charging case. And if you try them and you don't love them as much as we do here, they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee plus free shipping, free returns, and a 1-year warranty. It's Ultimate Ears, right, Dawson?
For a limited time, get 15% off your pair of UE Fits, true wireless earbuds at UE.com/fits. Just use promo code Adam at checkout. That's 15% off with promo code Adam at UE.com/fits.
Because this guy's got a problem with weed, like big time.
Jamaican? Come on.
And it's also, we don't really judge he's an Uber guy, he likes to wake and bake and drive us to the airport. If you smelled scotch, you would go, what is up? Right?
But here.
This guy likes to toke out
He's going to hop out.
while he carts us around town at high speeds, you know?